7 minutes it is before 8 p.m. It's the headline segment here on Metro FM Talk. And tonight we check in, I guess, with the unfolding drama around the business rescue process at Tongaat Hulett, the impact on the working capital requirements and the ability to meet month-to-month obligations for Tongaat Hulett, in particular to the wide array of sugarcane growers, both large and small, who supply many of its mills in KwaZulu-Natal. And tonight, joined on the line by Ms. Kiki Mzoneli, Vice Chairperson of the SA Canegrowers Association. Mama Kiki, good evening and welcome.
Good evening and good evening to your listeners.
Yaphila ma?
Siyaphila njani?
Askhona. I want us maybe just to start, if you could just paint a picture for us. I mean, we were, as we were starting our show today, also saying, in as much as this is about Tongaat, what's happening, the 400 million or so owed to cane growers, it's also an opportunity to better understand the industry. So maybe just as we start, if you could just share with us how, the sugar we might have in our homes, the brown sugar, the white sugar, how that gets to us and the role of the growers themselves of sugarcane in making sure that gets to us.
Okay, maybe just to paint a picture so that your listeners can understand. The sugar industry, the history goes far back into 1800s. And the first black-owned mill, which was situated in Groundville, where Chief Albert Luthuli used to live, that was the first black-owned mill. And the only mill in the southern hemisphere, which is in Groundville Mission in a village. So we had small-scale growers, black small-scale growers who used to grow sugarcane, and we still have small-scale growers up to now who grow sugarcane in the rural areas of KwaZulu-Natal. And also we have farmers who are white farmers, who are commercial farmers, who are also growing sugarcane. We also have all types of farmers, white, black, and Indian farmers. So that's the history of our sugarcane in the KZN area.
And I guess, with that long history in that part of the world, there's a certain, I guess, relationship between the growers themselves and the mills that they supply with sugar. And talk to us maybe about how the payment works for that. So we understand here the 400 million eskhuluma is for the month of September, but that, I guess, the settlement of some of these, contracts would happen on a month-to-month basis. How does that work?
Okay, as SA Canegrowers, at this point, we are really concerned about our sugar mill, which is Tongaat Hulett Limited, which is right now under business rescue. So the reason why they are under business rescue, it's because they had problems that we all know about. It's been all over the media. But our biggest concern is that the sugar cane that was delivered to the mills in September, the workers and the growers are not going to receive any wages because the growers are not going to receive their money for the sugar cane delivered. So that's what is our biggest concern. As you understand that the mills that are being impacted right now is a Matikulu mill and a Maidstone mill, and all those mills are in the rural areas and Felixton, and those mills, they're helping with the economy of the areas that they're in. So those small towns around those mills, they'll be negatively impacted if the sugar mill is not working. So once the sugar mill stops working and the sugar that is being delivered is not crushed, we have a serious crisis in the area. Not only the crisis is affected, not only are the growers and the workers are going to be affected, but even the small towns around those mills are going to be hugely impacted.
From how you are looking at it, I mean, I would think there is some dialogue you are having, if at all, with some of the business rescue practitioners that were recently appointed and the company itself. Where are they? Because it seems the money to fulfill the orders for September is not there. And the same fate might befall those who supplied in October.
We are positive that eventually we are going to meet the business practitioners. Hopefully tomorrow we're going to meet them, but so far we haven't met them. So we're looking forward to meeting them so that we're going to have our input and emphasize the point that what is important and what we're looking forward to is for the mill to open so that it can continue crushing that cane. Because remember, the income that they need to pay the growers and the workers who are working for the growers is coming for the selling of the sugar. So we're really looking forward to opening of the mills and making sure that they are up and running as soon as possible.
How as sugarcane growers yourselves, have you been dealing with some of your own operational costs month on month? Because I would imagine that for many of the smaller growers, this money that comes from Tongaat's mills is a big chunk of their monthly revenue expectations. So how have you dealt with, I guess, input providers, might be for tractors, for seed, for, fertilizer or anything that is used in your production process, right through to the workers themselves? And have there been any challenges for many of your members insofar as that is concerned?
It has been a very difficult year for the sugarcane growers. Remember, we had riots in KZN, so they looted the farms, and some of the farms were burnt. So you can see the devastation, and then the floods, and now this a problem of Tongaat Hulett Limited. So you can imagine how I was struggling as small-scale growers. It's even more because we only deliver our cane once a year. So you can imagine we're waiting for our money because all the small-scale growers, they deliver once a year. So this is the only money that you get in order to contribute to your input and you're returning for the whole year to make sure that your cane is ready to be taken to the mill, and then you get some money to, for your family and everything. So it's going to be a serious negative impact if the small-scale growers are not getting paid. But at the end of the day, we need to remember that for a sugarcane mill to be crushing in an hour, it's expected to crush not less than 350 tons. So we expect small-scale growers and big and commercial farmers to contribute to those tons of cane. So at the end of the day, all of us are impacted. Whether we are a small-scale farmer or we are a commercial farmer, we are equally impacted.
Just hold the line there for me for a second, because we've got a voice note from one of our listeners here who'd like to maybe just weigh in on something. And maybe just as we prepare that voice note, Mam Kiki, I'm quite interested. I mean, how many times a year would you harvest as sugarcane growers?
As a small-scale grower,
yes, yeah.
As a small-scale grower, we harvest once a year. So you can imagine that the small-scale growers are eagerly waiting for their money so that they can start and go to replanting. Some of them will be making sure that they are paying their workers, because at the end of the day, when we're harvesting, we owing our workers, so we're waiting for that money to pay our workers and make sure that all of us are happy.
Okay. Hold the line there for me for a second as we take a listen to this voice note.
Ayabonga, Mosquito Lemlas.
Sure, Mosquito.
We are raising a very critical issue, the sugarcane. Sugarcane, KZN, Amandia. Indians are dominating sugarcane. And your guest who's going to come there, he or she knows. And the laborers are Africans, black Africans. Ayabonga. Tongaat ushona le koStenga, uyokoMandeni, uye koShowe, uyokoTongaat. It's Indians. They are dominating that industry. Ayabonga. I'm very emotional ngale issue le. Maskito le mlazi.
Mam Kiki, I mean, it's not the first time I hear an impression like that. Quite an incorrect one, I must say, because I certainly would know a lot of black sugarcane growers who are supplying not just Tongaat in this case, but some of its competitors as well. So it certainly would not be true. But I'm sure you've heard it before as well. Just your thoughts.
No, it's for the first time I'm hearing that, because I know that everyone who's been to KZN, they know that the sugar cane is mostly in the rural areas of KZN. And in my introduction, I did say that the only black-owned mill that used to be owned by the black people was situated in Groundville, and it goes back into the 1800s. So I really think people need to be educated about the sugarcane industry. It's such a pity that he's got the information that he has, but we still have a long way to educate people that in this industry we have black, white, Indians, and all of us, we have a role to play. So, yeah, it's so unfortunate.
Yeah, and I guess this is why, I mean, we've taken this chance to speak to you, so that we also demystify some of these issues. Where it seems people might have some misinformation, or even their observations might not necessarily be borne out in reality. I mean, the point you make about Groundville, which, as you said, is where Nkosi Alfred Luthuli is from. And the fact that, you know, even in the 19th century, black people were producing sugarcane in that part of the world, I think is something that is rather fascinating. So, yeah, maybe let's take another voice note and take a listen to this now.
Mr. Cabe, siyabonga for isho enhle emnandi ukhuluma noKhoza lana eCape Town. Thanks for giving us a platform to express ourselves. Thank you for giving us a platform to ourselves, to express ourselves. Hey, this Hulett thing is very difficult, Baba, to digest. And I'm from the rural areas of KwaZulu-Natal. There's an area called KwaMaphumulo. And some of my family members, my relatives, there's an area called Bamshela, KwaXhosa, and a few neighbors in that stretch of land, starting from Guadeta till Bamshela and Nurspec area till Appelspoch and Dalton. They all survive on sugarcane. And most of them, they plant, whether it's a few hectares of land, and then they basically, Hulett is a big source of income for my area, because I'm from that area where Hulett is benefiting a lot of people in my community. So I just pray that Hulett fix something out, and hopefully they don't shut their doors, because really it will devastate majority of KZN and the north of KZN, starting from Stenga and starting from Tongaat and upwards, from Ndwedwe right up until the north of KZN. So I'm just praying, brother, that this thing gets resolved. I'm from KZN, and especially the areas that are affected by this sugarcane mill Hulett's problem. So I'm just praying that it's actually get resolved quickly. And I didn't know that we had such a huge economical problem, because really if sugar is down, the entire economy of South Africa will suffer. I know about Ilovo, but I'm just specifically talking about Hulett. Hulett plays a very big role in the supply and supplying of sugar in South Africa. So,
yeah, Mam Kiki, just your thoughts, I guess, on my brother's reflection there, and I guess on the economic importance of Tongaat in this case, and also, I guess, your own assessment, because I guess the challenge with the business rescue process is that you might not get everything that it might be due to you, and there might be certain commitments that might be required of yourselves as growers as well. Just your thoughts on that.
First of all, I'd like to say to the last caller that is right, he's on point. And you also feel the same way, that we don't want to see Tongaat Hulett sugar closing down, because it will really negatively impact on the economy of KZN and the economy of all these small towns that are surrounding these mills. But we are hopeful that tomorrow, when we meet the business rescue practitioners, there'll be a positive, there'll be a positive talks, and we'll come out with we'll make positive decisions that will make our growers happy. But we are really hopeful that our growers will be paid. So, yeah, and we really believe that eventually the sugarcane industry will come right and will function normally.
Ma'am Kiki, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, and thank you to your listeners.
Yeah, folks, there, Ma'am Kiki speaking to us from the Sugarcane Growers Association. I don't know what you make of that, but yeah, Ma'am Kiki Mzoneli, Vice Chairperson of the South African